Hello, welcome to another video, another genre. I hope you're having a good time, whatever it is you're up to or been up to. What am I talking about today? Well, techno started back in the rave scene, back in the 80s, early 90s, and it was a lot of fun. It was the word. Everything that you were doing, especially underground stuff, techno. If you're playing that kind of like 4-on-the-4 vibe, it was either house or techno, and I was leaning more towards the techno side. It was a bit more exciting. It was high energy. The tempos anywhere from the mid 120s right the way up to the mid 130s, sometimes pushing up to 140. A lot of the stuff I play, a lot of the tempos I play, around 133 to 136. Techno wise, and again with techno there's loads of subgenres within it. What I'm going to be looking at today is just some of the beats that are happening, some of the beats that I play and the way I play them. Some of the stuff that I've been showing you, you can get going on the kit with no clicks. With techno it's a little bit harder because they layer lots of rhythms, especially hi-hats. So you'll have one hi-hat pattern going, and then you'll have another hi-hat pattern come in, and then another hi-hat pattern coming in. And if they want to get that energy and take it up another level, they'll bring another hi-hat pattern in. When they bring these patterns in, the other ones are still going. So they're layering. If you don't have your head around using playback systems, sequencers, how to trigger start and stop loops, you're going to really struggle, in my opinion. I highly recommend that you get hold of a sequencer and you start exploring what you can do with that sequencer and triggering loops. They're there to help us recreate what's going on in these tracks. So that's the first thing. The second thing is sounds. I say each week whilst we've been looking at genres, the sounds that you use are so important. It's so important, and you've got to get your sounds sorted out. You've got to keep increasing those sound libraries. Without the sounds, you're going to be struggling. You can use your modules depending on the modules that you've got, but I guarantee that the sounds in there are not going to be too representational of these genres. A lot of the sounds that are going in modules at the moment are sounds that are replicating acoustic kits. So you need to get your head around samples. You need to get your head around DAWs and triggering samples. If you've got a module you can sample into, even better. Once you've got all that going on, you can create and recreate these genres. So let's have a look at techno. What have I got going on? Well, I'm going to demonstrate first of all the stuff that I've been talking about with sound libraries. I've got my sounds at the moment coming from Ableton. I've got all my sounds, I've put them into a drum rack, and I'm triggering those sounds from Ableton. So this is the kick drum. It's nice and tight, it's got a punch, it's got a click on the front end of it. Okay, so in comparison, let me just take that out. So I've just muted that. When I hit the kick drum, there's no sound. That's the sound of the kick from my module. As you can hear, it sounds like an acoustic kit. Now I could go through, as I have been doing, and changing these sounds to try and imitate a techno sound. And trust me, I have been sitting here for a while, having a listen and seeing if I can find anything that is suitable as a techno sound, something that I can tweak. You're going to struggle. So this is where I am again with my sound. Nice and tight. So that's the kick drum. It needs to be nice and tight. It needs to be something that's going to cut through. The snare drums, well, again, the snare drum needs to be a tight snare drum. There's nothing in the module, so I've got a sample. The sample's coming from the drum rack in Ableton. So the kit is talking to Ableton. The other thing that they use is hand claps. I've got two hand claps going on over here. I've got one on the skin, if you like, on the center of the pad. And then I've got one on the rim. typically techno. And then on the hi-hat, we just have an up hi-hat where my foot's down, my foot's off, it's not playing anything at the moment. My foot's down. As far as cymbals go, cymbals, they have more authentic cymbals. They have cymbals that sound like cymbals. So on here, I've got a Sabian 16-inch crash that I've sampled. And over here, I've got a 17-inch. I think that's an HH, and I think that's an explosion. So there you go. So with these, you can start making your own beats. And to me, this is just a typical typical techno beat. It's 4 on the floor. It's got that disco vibe about it, which goes along with house music. But you've got that going on with the hand claps. So that's a kind of typical, straightforward techno beat. The only added thing you do here is you've got loops. You're bringing loops in and out. And as I said before, you've got hi-hat loops and shaker loops. So I've got 3. I've got them triggered from my DTX here, but obviously they're being triggered from Ableton. If you don't know how to do this, you really need to get your head around it. There's a book out, The Art of eDrumming. It shows you how to do all this and so much more. It's real basic stuff, but you're using technology. You've got to understand how that technology works. And once you do, you can use it to your advantage. And this is one of those instances. So I have a loop being triggered from here, and it's triggering sounds from the computer. One being triggered from here and one being triggered from here. So if I hit this, and it's also stopping it. The same pad is stopping it. So starting it. And then I have another one here. Stop, start. So that's the second loop. I have another one here. I'm going to stop that one and start that one again. Stop and start. And then I can bring them in. And this guy, that's all 3 of them playing. And all 3 of them stopping. So there you go. Once those are going, you can then start playing your own thing on top of it as well. So if you start with a, and you want to bring a loop in, and this is techno. They build these shaker patterns, hi-hat patterns up. And again, and you've still got your other patterns to bring in. There's a real quick look at how you can create techno using electronic drum kit. Again, it's a huge genre. You can't demonstrate it all in such a short amount of time. But I hope this just gives you a few little tips as to how you can create it. The most important thing, first of all, your sound libraries. Make sure you've got those sounds which are techno sounds. Next, make sure you know how to bring those loops in and out and what those loops are doing. Techno, I can't stress it enough, it's just hi-hat patterns, shakers and rhythms that are just layering on top, on top, on top of one another all the time, making it bigger, bigger, bigger. Once you start putting all these things together and you're in control of them and you can control where they come in and out, you're well on your way to creating techno. Once you start doing all that stuff, you can start putting musical loops in there as well, and you can start using all your effects pedals and all that stuff that I've demonstrated as well. You can get all that going on. Thanks so much for watching. I hope once again you've got something out of this, and please send any questions over, any comments, always reply to them. There's always a response. As I said earlier on, if you do have trouble or you're not quite sure how to get all this going on, you're not sure on technology, get the art of eDrumming. It shows you how to do all this stuff and so much more. You've got to get your head under the bonnet and get the basics sorted. This takes you from the basics right the way through to some real cool stuff where you're triggering lights and videos and all kinds of stuff. It all comes with video accompaniment, so you can watch videos on it as well. It's all in the book. It's shipping now. Head over to tugted.com and order your copy if you're not quite sure how to do all this stuff. If you've got it, let me know how you're getting on. I'd love to know. And yeah, there's more videos over on YouTube if you're watching this on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's more videos on Facebook. It's a two-way thing. Subscribe, like, do all the things that you normally do, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. Have a great time until next time, and I will see you then. Take care, guys. Ta-da.